The air in the Henderson house crackled with a familiar tension, a low hum beneath the surface of their daily routines. Mark's deployment date loomed, a dark silhouette against the bright backdrop of their family life. This wasn't their first rodeo. The worn duffel bag in the corner of their bedroom was a silent testament to previous goodbyes. But this time felt different. A year, 12 long months stretching out like a barren landscape. The usual evening chaos felt muted. 8-year-old Lily, normally a whirlwind of glitter and giggles, sat hunched over her coloring book, the tip of her tongue poking out in concentration. But the vibrant hues were absent, replaced by a heavy wash of blues and grays. 10-year-old Tommy, usually bouncing off the walls with boundless energy, stood by the living room window, a rigid statue staring out at the twilight, his young face etched with a stubborn anger that Sarah knew was just a mask for fear. In the kitchen, amidst the clatter of lunchboxes and the rustle of sandwich bags, Sarah's movements were mechanicheski. Another year. The words echoed in her mind, a weary refrain. It felt like just yesterday Mark had walked back through that door, the scent of foreign dust clinging to his uniform, their reunion a burst of light after a long darkness. Now the darkness was threatening to descend again. "Another year, Mark," she said, her voice barely a whisper, the weight of it settling in the small space between them. Mark stopped packing a granola bar, turning to wrap an arm around her, his hand finding the small of her back. "I know, honey," he murmured, his lips brushing against her temple. "It's not easy for any of us." From the kitchen table, Lily's voice was small and thick with unshed tears. "I don't want you to go again, Daddy." Tommy finally turned from the window, his jaw tight. "It's not fair. You're always leaving." The accusation hung in the air, a raw expression of the frustration and helplessness that gnawed at them all. Time, Sarah thought, felt like a relentless current, pulling them apart just as they managed to find their way back to each other. Precious moments, the everyday normalcy they craved, were constantly being snatched away. The week leading up to deployment day was a blur of hurried preparations and forced smiles. The worn suitcase lay open on their bed, swallowing neatly folded uniforms. Sarah found herself lingering over the framed family photos on the nightstand. Snapshots of birthdays, holidays, simple moments of togetherness. Each one a bittersweet reminder of the time that had already slipped away. In the doorways, the kids hovered like shadows, their unspoken anxieties filling the quiet spaces. Time, once a steady rhythm, now felt like a frantic countdown. During the drive to the base, an unusual silence filled the car. Mark's knuckles were white on the steering wheel. Sarah gazed out the window, the familiar landscape blurring through a film of unshed tears. In the back seat, Lily was unusually still, and even Tommy's usual fidgeting was absent. Years, Sarah reflected, were measured in deployments and homecomings. The milestones they missed: a school play, a first lost tooth, a bedtime story read with Daddy's voice, became cherished memories, yes, but also carried the sharp edge of absence. Later that evening, after tucking the kids into bed, Sarah found herself scrolling through her phone, a sense of longing washing over her. There had to be a way to hold on to these moments, to bridge the vast distance that was about to separate them. That's when she stumbled upon it. An app called I Love View. The name resonated with a quiet promise. A video time capsule for families like theirs. The next morning, a different kind of energy filled the Henderson house. It wasn't the frantic rush of packing, but a quiet sense of purpose. Mark set up his phone in the living room, and the four of them gathered together, their faces a mixture of sadness and a newfound resolve. "All right, future us," Mark began, his arm around Sarah, the kids nestled close on either side. His voice was a little thick, but his smile was genuine. "Just wanted to say we love you, and we're thinking of you. It's tough right now, but we'll get through it." Lily peeked out from behind Sarah, waving shyly. "Miss you, Daddy." A small, brave smile touched her lips. Even Tommy, his usual teenage angst momentarily forgotten, offered a small nod. "See you soon, Dad." Sarah leaned into Mark, her hand finding his. "Be safe, my love," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "We'll be counting down the days." As Mark stopped the recording, a sense of quiet hope settled in the room. It wasn't a replacement for his presence, but it was something, a way to send a piece of their present into their future, a reminder of their love, a connection that even distance couldn't completely sever. Time, Sarah realized, was indeed fleeting, but perhaps with a little intention, they could capture some of its precious essence and hold on to it until they were all together again.